Now, this week's episode of Steins Gate Zero, something happens near the end of this episode that really gets my mind racing on how the series could end and possibly how the D-Mail could go from one world line to the other, convince the Alpha world line Okabe to continue again but do it in a certain way, and get him to reach Steins Gate. It's the conversation between Daru as well as Suzuha, and essentially they're talking about the time machine, how much more power it has. It could go back maybe half a year, maybe once or twice. But then the question gets asked, what would happen if it ran out of power midway through? And then the whole idea of like erasing and just kind of like so much weird shit could happen and nothing good can come from that. And I wonder if that's going to play a factor in how that message is going to be sent to the Alpha World line Okabe. If possibly someone's going to have to jump back, maybe actually have the time machine to lose its power mid-jump, and maybe that's how it's going to get sent. Something along that nature. I'm very curious. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to predict it here, but please no spoilers. If I got it completely right, I highly doubt it. Or if I got it wrong, but that's just my idea. I feel like that's where my mind's thinking right now, and I can't wait to see how they're going to explore. I don't think we're going to see any endgame content for a while here, but still, it had my mind racing, and I really like that, how even if it's nothing important, I do like it when Steins Gate gives you those little bits of information, and it makes the viewer question if that's majorly important, or if it's just nothing and you can kind of brush it away. I love that. But with this week's episode of Steins Gate Zero, it comes off of my favorite episode of the season to date. And this episode didn't top last week, but it was an amazing episode with how they directed it right off the bat. Having Okabe wake up in a hospital bed, it gives you the illusion of like, is he in the right world line? And I love how everything's appearing like he's in the right world line, but I like how Okabe isn't convinced. Because the thing is if Mayuri knows who Kursu is, things are bad, she's gonna get killed, nothing good could come from that. So I like how they are directing it. He's very confused. Mayuri just handed him the juice box. And I like how he's not convinced that he's in the right world line until she admits that she doesn't know who Kursu is. But I mean, that starts raising red flags for people like Suzuha, because if they're not in the right world line, if they're in a world line that's not going to fix things, everything's going to hell. But ultimately, this is a world line that is going to go to hell. The arms race has begun. Russia is experimenting with time travel. America is trying to get their feet in the time traveling business as well. More than likely, they were part of that attack on the squad upstairs. Like, so many things are going wrong. Kursu's father's notes probably made it to Russia. Everything is hitting the fan, but this world line has to hit the fan in order for the Alpha world line to get that message and to fix things and reach Steins Gate. Like how Suzuha reacts. She pulls a gun on Okabe. She slices his face. I mean, she has damn good aim. If this was an anime, Okabe would be dead. He'd have a bullet right between his eyes. But I like how she does react. She's very much pissed off and scared because everything relies on Okabe reaching Steins Gate. So she wants to jump back, and obviously Okabe's not going to be okay with that, and I like the kind of confrontation between the two. Okabe isn't the mad scientist yet. I don't think Okabe's going to be the mad scientist until a few episodes before the series ends, because his whole gimmick, the whole idea of the mad scientist, was for Mayuri's sake. It was never about the world or anything like that. Everything he did was for her, and that's why he ultimately stayed in this world line, sacrificed Kursu, because Mayuri is what was most important for him, and he would let the world burn in order to keep her alive. So I actually like how he is getting a bit more grounded, and you can see the progression since last week's episode. He is feeling more like that mad scientist, but he's not quite there yet. And I don't think he's going to be there for another 12 weeks because he needs to build into that, but he needs to figure out how can he fix this without time traveling. And I think he's going to ultimately have to, but I don't think we're going to see that till the end. But I do like how, unlike with the original Steins Gate, it was just time travel, time travel, time travel. Now it's how can we do this without experimenting with time? And it's going to be interesting to see how they build up throughout that. I also like how some people are remembering stuff from last week's episode, having the girl in the bed saying like, I had this weird dream, it was just a dream. The bleeding effect is happening again. Things are going bad. Having countries race for time travel, having an arms race of not nuclear weapons but time travel is even worse. Nuclear bombs, you know what you're going to get. Having countries with the ability to change fate as we know it, that is even more dangerous. It's absolutely insane what they're doing, and I like the build-up. Hell, I even like how much of a bro Daru was in this episode. He has to be probably the MVP of the episode with his wise words of wisdom there, and kind of de-escalating the situation with Suzuha. This was absolutely stunning with how they directed it here, because yes, some people might take a screen cap and say, oh, this character model didn't look that great. But when you actually see it in motion, even if the character model may not look top-notch quality, the way they're directing it, especially with how the episode started off with the whole hospital scene, you felt confused, you felt like, is this the right world line? And it wasn't until Mayuri admitted that she doesn't know who Kursu is, well, she said that it's the person that Okabe's talking to in his phone, that's when you knew things were okay. And that's the beauty of Steins Gate's directing. The entire point of Steins Gate directing, at least in my opinion, is how it directs it in a way that it matches Okabe's psyche. If he's shook up, if he's having a nervous breakdown, the animation is going to feel shaky. Just what the hell is going on? And if Okabe's more confused, they're going to direct it that way. And if Okabe's more calm, that's how it is. And I like that because it makes the directing feel almost like we are the main character, but we're watching an actual character go through some crazy shit, and I absolutely adore that. This episode was absolutely thrilling because of how they handled here. Maybe not every 5 minutes of the episode was top-notch quality, 100% amazing perfection. However, how the episode flowed from the just distraught not knowing where you are, why is he in a hospital bed, oh he passed out, the overall sweet conversation between Daru and Suzuha. Yes, the dude's usually creepy in the show, but I actually felt like he had more of a grounded nature and actually felt more like a father figure instead of just a creepy dude half the time wanting to bang his daughter. It feels like it's just like, calm down, Daru, calm down. But this episode actually felt a lot more grounded, especially, and it's kind of weird because coming off of last week's episode, which was so emotionally heartbreaking, I'm glad they took this approach for the episode because it does have that shakiness. You feel eerie, you know Russia's meddling with shit they shouldn't, but still, I like how they directed it. It kind of felt nerve-wracking, but it also felt a little bit hopeful. Even though this world line's not going to have a hopeful outcome, it is going to ultimately lead to the prosperity of the Alpha to the Steins Gate world line. That's awesome. It's just great. Like, really, I don't have a major complaint with Steins Gate Zero here. Sure, you can nitpick some things here or there, but I love how it's flowing as an anime original. I'm completely thrilled with the direction they're taking. It was awesome. I can't wait, as always, for the next week's episode, but let me know what you're feeling. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Your favorite moment? Let me know down in that comment section below. And if you enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like, and if you're new, also be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.